wanted to do a video about astrology for you today because there was some interest in my previous videos for me to talk about this subject. I wasn't really sure how to approach this because astrology is a very broad topic, very in-depth and personal, and I am not an expert by any means. I have taught this information to myself, and I taught myself in a way that was very comprehensible for my learning style. There is just a lot of information to know about astrology and a lot of overlapping verbiage. So sometimes listening or reading something written by someone who's been doing this for years or decades, it's just a little bit of going over your head because they are so well versed in what everything means that in layman's terms, you're just kind of confused because you're like, oh, well, my Jupiter is in Gemini, but it's in my fourth house, but my fourth house is ruled by Capricorn, and what does that all mean? That they're all together. So it takes to break it down and look at it from different angles. So I wanted to share it with you guys because I am super passionate about it, and I figured why not spread that on if some of you might want to learn more. So I wanted to start by sharing with you guys my favorite astrology apps because that is really how I started getting more interested in learning about the deeper parts of astrology. Was just, reading my horoscope, and then I learned more about it, and there are other apps that do go more in depth. I can't show you guys these apps because I am filming on my phone, so I will post the names of the apps below. So to get started, my first, most, or longest used is DailyHoroscope. This app is very simple, very user-friendly, and basically what I would do with this, I don't use it very often anymore just because I read so many other horoscopes in a day that this one just kind of gets overlooked. But this used to be the only one that I would use to read my sun sign horoscope. It breaks it down. You can read a monthly horoscope, a weekly, or a daily. So I would always read my daily, and I felt like it was pretty accurate. Obviously, it's very generalized. It's only going by your sun sign. If you're curious, I have my sun sign in Scorpio. I was born on November 3rd. Your sun sign is most likely the only sign that you know. If you only know one, it's probably your sun sign. I say probably, but most definitely it's your sun sign. So that's what I would read about. I felt like it was pretty accurate. I used to screenshot them sometimes and post them to my Instagram. And looking back on them now, years later, I'll be like, oh yeah, that was really accurate for what was going on in my life. But it's all what you see in yourself. Some people don't relate as strongly to their sun sign. It did give me a good perspective though, because if I didn't relate to something that my horoscope was saying, it made sense then when I started learning more. I could kind of appreciate how different aspects of my personality were coming from the different areas of my chart. So that one though is a good jumping off point if you just want to read about your sun sign. Then the next one is just a really fun app, I feel like. It's called Sanctuary, and it is set up like you are sending and receiving messages. So you click a button and it sends a preset message, and the system responds with your 2-sentence horoscope of the day. And then it lets you send another message, and it gives you a couple more sentences. And then it gives you your power emoji, and then you can read about your rising sign. So for this app, you need the exact time of your birth, your location, and your birthday for it to be able to pull your rising sign. And it's very important to have the exact time of your birth, because if it is wrong, then it messes with a lot of stuff. So you can get your sun and all your planets with just your birthday and the location, but to get your rising sign, which then shows where all your houses are lying, you need to know the exact time of your birthday or your birth time, excuse me. But I really know that I relate with my rising sign equally, if not more so than my sun sign. I have a rising sign in Sagittarius. So then the app will give you your information the same way about your rising sign, and then you can get your starry-eyed news, which is where it just gives you astrological news, whether it's a celestial event or, you know, a famous person's birthday. It just gives you like a little blurb about what's going on. So today it was about the full moon in Aquarius. There are other features on this app. You can become a member and have access to astrologers, and they do have reading information you can utilize. I think some of it is free and some of it you have to pay for. What I've read on it, I looked at it a long time ago. It was just general information. It seemed pretty easy to comprehend though. It's a pretty simple app. It does not go too in-depth, but it does take you a little bit further since it gives you your rising sign as well. And if you want to pay for the other aspects of the app, it does give you information about all different things and more in-depth. It's just the main use of the app of giving you your horoscope every day does not go any deeper, even if you are a member. The next app is my favorite, and it is probably the most popular. It is the CoStar app. This is only available for iPhones. I'm sure you guys have heard of this app if you know anything about astrology apps. It is super popular. It is very aesthetically pleasing and almost works like a social media platform. You can, sorry, my phone is telling me I have a low battery. You can add your friends and see their charts and see how their charts compare to your chart. Your chart is very easily accessible. It's going to show you what sign all your planets land in and what houses the planets are in as well, and then break it down for you generally. And then every day it gives you a little blurb about your day, which they're always very funny, I feel like, or just like insightful. It's up to you if you want to associate it with the day that you're having, like all horoscopes or astrology. But my favorite one it's ever given me was look at the sky and adjust your thoughts, which is just something I would totally say to somebody if they were having a bad day. Like, go look at the sky and adjust your thoughts. You'll feel better. Mine today was emptiness makes space for grace. And then I've had ones that are like, start a new book or cast a spell. And they're just like funny. And I have friends who use this app as well, and I have not had them have the same thing said to them that I have said to me. For a while I had a friend and we would send each other what it was every day, and ours were never the same through the entire time we were sending it to each other. So I know that they use information from NASA to compile the information that they're giving out to you for their algorithm. So they have that on the main page, and then they split the different parts of your horoscope into 6. It's thinking and creativity, spirituality, social life, self, sex and love, and work. And so then they break it down into what you have power in for the day, pressure, and trouble. So sometimes you don't have anything that's troublesome. Sometimes you don't have anything that there's pressure in. It's just trouble and power. So it can be different. I have had days where I have power in nothing. And so if you click on each one, it explains to you, you know, like, oh, this is going on, and you can attribute this to your moon in Gemini. And so you can really see how the parts of your chart are relating to different things going on in your life, which is very helpful to, you know, use the knowledge to kind of understand more deeply. So hopefully they make the Android version soon so everyone can use it, because I think it's great. The next one, I love this app and I highly recommend it, but it is not going to give you any information that you can relate to your chart. It uses your natal chart to give you this information, but unlike CoStar, it does not explain why it thinks this. So like, this app is called The Pattern, and it is breaking down your pattern. And so mine starts with free-spirited and independent, and it gives you a long explanation about like how this is in you and like the ways that you show this to the world, but it does not relate it to anything in your natal chart. It doesn't say like this is associated to your rising sign in Sagittarius. So that could be frustrating for someone who wants to learn more to be able to relate it, but I think it's interesting either way. I really like it. It shows you your pattern, and then it says your timing, which it goes through cycles. And so right now I'm about to finish 3 cycles, which all started in February. or except for one started last November, the other two started in February. So my expectations, my letting go of chaos, and my letting go of expectation, or illusions, letting go of illusions. And so all of those are coming to a close, and I'm very excited. And then right now I'm in a challenges and transformation cycle that will not end until like midway through 2020. I have like 15 more months to go. Oh, no, never mind. That's not midway through 2020. That's like the end of 2020. I'm going to be transforming for a while, guys. But the pattern is great. You can also add people into it manually, so they don't have to have the app. You can just add in their information, and you can see things about them, and you can also compare your information, your patterns, romantically. So if you're dating somebody or you have an ex that you want to look at, and I can say this information for me is scary accurate. It goes very in depth, and in my opinion, it's just very interesting to read, and it drags you though. If you want to like have some truth bombs dropped on you about yourself, like, you know, those little things that you try to like avoid, like thinking about, like that you're possessive and jealous and needy. Yeah, you can't do that with this. It doesn't let you. It just like throws it out there, and it's just like, this is what you are. Like, deal with it. And I use that as an example because that is part of my personality, being a Scorpio. So the next couple apps are not my favorites, but I do use them and I have them on my phone. But the past four that I was talking about are definitely the ones that I most highly recommend. These ones, they're all free, so if you want to download them, go for it. These two apps are very similar. It's Horos and AstroFuture. I like these because of the way they break down your chart. They break it down into, you know, how much air you have in your sign, how much water you have in your chart, not your sign. And I think that's interesting to see it broken down in like a percentage wise, and just kind of explain how those aspects play into each other. Most of my chart is air and water, which are not super compatible, so it kind of breaks down how you can see the water in some areas and air in others, and how they kind of complement each other, and then how they also have conflict with each other. And then it'll tell you like how much feminine energy you have, how much masculine energy you have. And so for that, I think it's interesting just to have to reference. And those are both pretty similar. There's slight differences on both of them. The AstroFuture one, I have not dived into as deeply. I just recently got that. And then the Horos one, there is like aspects of the app that you can use for your horoscope. That's more general, but I don't even bother using it because I use these other apps before. And I'm not going to check my horoscope on 10 different apps every day. The few that I do check in on is already a little excessive. And then also I like the Time Passages app. This is great because it tells you where all the planets are at the time. It'll tell you like what phase the moon is in. And then I like it because it is more in depth. So once you get to know more, this is good to use because you can see how like the moon being in Aquarius relates to your moon being in whatever it's in, and so on and so forth, and read about that. So it's not just like one horoscope. There are multiple ones for multiple planets. And there is a siren. Totally thought they were coming from the other direction too. I live right off a major road, so I apologize. But yeah, those are my favorite astrology apps. If you have any questions, please let me know. I am not sure really where to take this next, but I am gonna think about it and deliberate. I think maybe I will break it down in my next video about your big three, which would be your sun, your moon, and your rising sign, and kind of how all of those tie together and influence each other. Or maybe I'll talk to you guys about my chart and just, you know, go over it with you so you can have an understanding when I'm referencing stuff. I don't know. If you have any suggestions, please let me know. I hope you guys are having a great day. Bye.